Okay, let's unpack this. There is a question swirling around the NHL right now that would have been just unthinkable 2 years ago, and it revolves around a $13 million superstar. We are talking, of course, about Austin Matthews.
We are, and the quick summary here is just, it's shocking. The fan base in Toronto has gotten to a point where they are actively looking up trade scenarios for their captain.
Their captain and former 60-plus goal scorer. This isn't just like media chatter.
No, not at all. This is real, measurable desperation. It's fueled by a catastrophic team performance and, frankly, a personal statistical collapse for Matthews himself.
And that's our mission for this deep dive. We want to get past the headlines, look at the sources of this fan frustration, and really analyze the cold, hard evidence. Is Matthews actually in decline?
And we have to be clear here. This isn't just about a slump.
Right.
What we're hearing suggests this could be a stunning fall from grace for a generational talent. The consequences could ripple through the whole league.
Okay, so let's start with what broke. The breaking point. It was immediate. It was brutal.
It was that road trip, that disastrous road trip. 3 games: Washington, Nashville, Dallas.
3 soul-crushing regulation losses.
And, calling them losses doesn't even do it justice. These weren't close games. They weren't unlucky bounces. These games exposed every single flaw in that team's foundation.
The defense was soft, goaltending shaky.
And the superstar core was just invisible. It's complete systemic collapse, and it happened at the worst possible time.
What makes it so jarring, though, is what happened right before. I mean, the sources point this out. The Leafs had actually found a bit of a rhythm.
They had, yeah. 5 wins, 1 overtime loss, 2 regulation losses. It wasn't, world-beating hockey, but it was respectable.
It was a glimmer of hope, right, that maybe things were steadying.
And that glimmer didn't just fade, it was completely extinguished. And the fan reaction, that's led to what people are calling the Pucadilla phenomenon.
Okay, I want to push back on this a little bit. Toronto fans, they can be, a bit reactionary. They want to trade someone every week. How do we know this Pucadilla data is any different this time?
That's a fair question. It's different because Pucadilla isn't a columnist with an opinion. It's a real-time barometer. It tracks what actual users are searching.
So it's organic.
Exactly. It's thousands of knowledgeable fans plugging Austin Matthews' name into a trade machine to see what they could get back. And right now, he is the single most searched player on that trade tracker. Not just on the Leafs, in the entire NHL.
That's profound. People who bought his jersey, who defended him, they're now actively trying to get rid of him. It's a total loss of faith.
And it's backed up by the numbers.
Sure.
Let's get into the statistical nightmare, because through 30 games this season, the numbers are, they're hard to believe.
Okay, lay them on me.
Just 23 points, 14 goals, 9 assists.
And if you project that out over 82 games, that's what, roughly 63 points? For a guy who's supposed to be in his prime.
Right in the middle of it. And for context, this is the lowest points per game average of his entire career. He's never finished a full season below .95. We're talking about a 30% drop in his primary offense.
And it's not just the points, right? It's everything. The regression is across the board.
It is. His shooting percentage has cratered. His power play production has evaporated. He's not creating chances. And you see his ice time in key situations going down. The coaches can't trust him.
Wow.
And here's the most damning stat of all for a top-line two-way center. In his last 10 games, he has been on the ice for more goals against than goals for at even strength.
That is the definition of a liability. For your number one guy to be getting outscored when he's on the ice, something is fundamentally broken.
Exactly. Either in his game or maybe his body.
Okay, so if the data is screaming decline, we have to shift from the what to the why. What does the eye test tell us? Because he looks different.
He looks completely different. The old Matthews, he hunted the puck like a predator. He was all power and reach.
Now he just looks lost. There's a visible discomfort, a hesitation. It almost looks like he's trying to avoid contact.
And that -7 rating he had in his last 5 games before the break, that speaks volumes.
Explain that. Why is -7 so damning for him specifically?
Well, when a fourth liner is -7, it means they're getting caved in. When your top center, who starts most of his shifts in the offensive zone, is -7,
Yeah.
it means he's the one driving the negative play. He's losing pucks, he's pulling up on back checks.
Which brings us to the elephant in the room, the thing no one in the organization will confirm.
The injury. The overwhelming likelihood that Austin Matthews is playing hurt.
It has to be that, right? You don't just forget how to score 60 goals.
You don't. The reduced shot volume, the hesitation, these are physical symptoms. It's not a mental slump. This looks like a player dealing with a chronic issue.
And that puts the front office in an absolutely impossible situation. A catch-22.
A terrifying one.
Oh.
Let's break down the two options for Brad Treliving. Option 1. They admit he's seriously injured. They shut him down.
If they do that, they're basically admitting the season's a wash. The championship window for this year is closed.
And worse, they're admitting they made a huge error by letting their $13 million player play through it and potentially damage his value forever.
Yeah, no GM wants to admit that mid-season, so what's option 2?
Option 2 is, what if he's not that injured? What if this is just who he is now? Maybe it's burnout, maybe his elite physical tools are just gone.
And if that's the case,
Then the franchise is stuck paying $13 million a year for 4 more seasons to a 60-point player.
that is the definition of an albatross contract. It paralyzes your ability to build a competitive roster around your other stars, Marner and Nylander.
You can't do it. The whispers suggest it's probably a combination of things. A nagging injury, for sure, but also the mental toll of being the captain in Toronto. And maybe Craig Berube's system just doesn't suit him.
But if that physical part, the chronic injury, is the main driver, then exploring a trade isn't just fan panic anymore.
It becomes the only responsible financial move to protect the team's future. You just cannot pay that price for anything less than elite.
Which brings us to the organizational crossroads, the trade reality. Does he still have value?
Oh, absolutely. He has immense value. Former Hart Trophy winner, 27 years old, proven 60-goal guy. Teams would be lining up, betting that a change of scenery and a summer of recovery could fix him.
But the contract, $53 million owed after this season, that's the challenge.
It's a huge risk for any team taking him on. They need certainty about his health, and they just don't have it.
And this is where the idea of a depreciating asset comes in. Every single game he plays poorly, his trade value drops a little more.
Right. So management has to wonder, is it better to sell low now while it's still just speculation, or hold on and risk his value completely bottoming out?
So if they did pull the trigger now, what does a realistic trade package even look like?
You're talking about a franchise-altering haul, a young, established star center or winger coming back, multiple first-round picks, maybe 3 of them, and top-tier prospects. The kind of package that could reshape your team for a decade.
And who would pay that price? The sources mention a few teams.
Yeah, you've got your rebuilding teams who are desperate for a face of the franchise, like, say, the Anaheim Ducks, or maybe the San Jose Sharks, who need to accelerate their rebuild.
And then there's the third type of team.
The contender who's just one piece away. A team like the Carolina Hurricanes, who have everything except a true #1 elite center like Matthews. For them, the injury risk might be worth the gamble.
So it all comes back to this impossible decision for Leafs management. 3 terrible options.
Option 1, trade him now. The risk. He goes somewhere else, gets healthy, and gets back to scoring 60 goals, and you become a laughingstock for giving up on your captain.
Option 2, keep him. You bet on a recovery. The risk there is that the decline is permanent, and that contract sinks your franchise for the next 4 years.
And option 3, shut him down to heal. You admit defeat on this season, and you still have no guarantee he'll be the same player next year. The uncertainty is the killer.
You know, just stepping back, the fact that we're even having this debate it's just insane. A player who is completely untouchable